Hello and welcome to your lovely, just full body, top to toe Pilates, a nice all-rounder one which you can do in 10-15 minutes, just to balance yourself out and just to move. So when you're ready, get a little bit of space, grab your mat and let's get ready to go. If we haven't met before, by the way, my name is Emma. I've been teaching Pilates for over a decade, crazy. And I do have a guide dog as I am registered blind, severely sight impaired. So he might join us. He's at the side at the moment. So listen out for the pitter patters. And so I do try to audio describe everything as best as I can. Sometimes I get a little bit, but I do try my best. And it means people that can see, maybe you can just put your screen to the side and follow along without looking. A little bit less screen time, but let's get ready to go. Let's bring ourselves around and let's shuffle right to the front of our mat. So we got the length of the mat behind us. And we're gonna bend the knees and have the feet grounded into the floor. The feet are not too close and not too far away, just a nice comfortable distance. And just start to curve over your spine, reaching down to your feet, dropping the head. I'm not going to drop mine too much because of the microphone, but see if you can curve over the legs for a moment. And just take a couple of deep breaths in and exhales out. So we're just finding this little stretch through the lower back, the upper back, across the shoulders. And as you're here, just notice the feet. Is there equal weight pressing into each foot? The ankles are not rolling out to the side, rolling in. The knees are in line with the hip bones. And let your shoulders soften down and away from your ears. As you start to roll yourself up to a seated position, take hold of the shins at the front or the backs of the legs and use it to lift you up a little bit taller. Starting to feel your belly button pulling away from your clothing, your lovely belt. When you're ready, see if you can tuck just the pelvis under, rolling your hip bones in towards you, really squeezing through those lower abs. And then lift back up nice and tall. Go again, so just the pelvis tucking under. This is going to be really hard, and it's really small movements. So often we think, oh, surely there should be more to this. But just teeny tiny movement through that pelvis. Good, on the next one, tuck the pelvis under. Feel like your hip bones are rolling up to meet your ribs. And start to curve the rest of the back. Tucking the pelvis under. Creating a C curve as you roll back towards the mat. Just about halfway because your hands are still behind your legs. Relax the shoulders. And then keep that curve as you come up. Reach the hands onto the shins and keep that curve coming back into that stretch over your legs. And then re-stack bone by bone, trying to lift nice and tall. We go again, tuck just the pelvis. And then like someone's kind of pushing into your stomach, you're curving back. Straighten through the arms, feel both feet still grounding into the mat. Keep that curve as we come up and bring that stretch over the legs. And then sitting nice and tall, like you're rebuilding the blocks back up. Go one more time, we tuck the pelvis. We roll down, like you're unraveling a Pilates mat. Maybe close your eyes and feel the movement. Keep that curve as we come up. We reach the hands onto the shins. We curve over. And then this time we re-stack back up. And we start to come down a little bit more. We tuck the pelvis. I feel like I'm going to be right off the mat. We tuck the pelvis and we roll down. Maybe take the hands off when you reach halfway. And maybe just hold it. Otherwise, keep rolling down, feeling each part of the spine, bone by bone, coming down to the mat. Sweep your arms over your head by the sides of your ears, like you're pushing through honey, through water. It's a little bit tougher to push through. We're not letting the rib cage open or flare up, or the lower back lift. Keep them grounded down. Lift the arms up to the ceiling, nod your chin until you've got a fist distance between your chin and chest. The rest is the abs pulling in, the chest coming up to the thighs. Keep that curve. We're curving back over the legs. And then we restack. Let's do this just one more time. Roll down. Maybe the arms are off. Maybe you're holding on. We're rolling all the way down. Energy through the arms as they go up by the sides of your ears. Take a lovely deep breath in. Lift the arms, nod the chin. We're slowly peeling like a stick of bone by bone off of the mat. We curve over the legs. And then on the next one, you can roll down unassisted or start to roll down using your hands onto the mat. Stepping your feet in so your heels are underneath your knees. Let the back of the head, let the shoulders melt into the mat as you hold onto the hip bones. You've got a nice natural curve through your lower back. And I want you to notice the hands on the hips. Your hips should be nice and level. And maybe you notice the temperature of your hands. Mine are warmed up now, but they were freezing before. Maybe you can feel the heat of your hands or the coolness of your hands. When you're ready on the exhale, squeeze the glutes, the legs, the abs as you bridge your hips up until you've got this lovely straight line or slope from your knees to your shoulders, and then tap the hips back down. As you do this, we bring the weight up onto the shoulders, not the neck. Squeeze and tap back down. Squeeze the hips up and tap back down. So we were just curving through the spine or really articulating through it. Now we're just lifting up and down. Let's add a bit more. We lift up, then we squeeze the thighs together, keeping the feet in place. Open the knees, drop the hips. We bridge the hips up, squeeze the thighs together as tight as you can. Open the knees, lower down. So maybe if you have a pillow, cushion, a Pilates ball, you might want to have this between the knees at this point. Working into the inner thighs a little more. On the next one, hold your bridge and just give me 10 little squeezes into the thighs. 9, 8, 7. Roll your hips in. Feel the weight across your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bridge it down. Step your feet away from you by one step. Lift one leg to tabletop where the shin is parallel to the ceiling. Keep holding onto your hips and start to draw circles with that leg. Again, think about pushing through honey, through water. You've got this resistance. And as you circle the leg, it's like you're smudging paint on the ceiling with your shin. And you're trying not to let the hips move. Let's go back the other way. So if anyone wants to make this a little bit more challenging, add an extra layer, you can always straighten your leg like your tip of the pen is now your toes, drawing a circle on the ceiling. Good. Place that foot down to the floor. Lift the other one up. Hips are not moving. Readjust the hips if they have moved. And push through that honey as you circle on the other side. And you may find there's one side where your hips feel like they're moving around a bit more. You have to engage those abs a little more. Let's go back the other way. What is the other leg doing? Is it moving around? Is it drifting off to the side? Try to keep it nice and equal. Centered. Place the foot down to the floor so the feet are about a foot away from you. Interlace the hands behind the head. Cradling the back of the neck, letting the thumbs run down the neck. Arms are not, or elbows not too wide out to the side, not too hugged in. And if you've got neck, back or shoulder pain, skip this one. You can still pull the abs in, but don't lift the head. You can join back in a second. Engage those abdominals, nod your chin to the chest until you have a fist distance between the chin and chest, and then the rest is your chest coming up to your thighs. And then slowly lower back down. Doing that just a couple of times. So if you can't do this, pull the abs in still. You're going to join in with this next one. If it felt okay to come up, we're going to stay lifted. We'll take one arm off, reaching it by our side. Palm faces to the floor. Reach the other arm off. The arms are just hovered. If your head is down, that's okay. And we start to pulse through the arms. Like there's a pool of water around you. You're creating a little splash or a ripple, but not a big splash. So feel that little breeze going through the arms. If this is not challenging enough, can you lift the leg back up to tabletop, like we did a minute ago? Shin parallel to the ceiling. And maybe lift the second leg up to join it now. So both shins are parallel to the ceiling, right angles. If that's not challenging enough, squeeze the legs together, straighten the legs, drop them lower. Equally, feet may be down, head may be down. It doesn't matter, because as you move the arms, the challenge here is to keep everything else still. So even with the head and the feet down, this is not easy. Just go a couple more rounds here, breathing in for 5. Breathing out. Did I even say the counts? I'm sorry if I didn't. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Squeeze the legs together. If they're up, straighten them all the way to the ceiling. If the knees are bent, just keep them where they are. If they were down, keep them feet grounded. And squeeze the thighs together. Let the arms open out to the side like you're melting into warm sand. Arms are up at shoulder height. Tip your pelvis over to the right. Start to peel your left hip up and off of the mat as you tip the legs over to that right side, and then pull back up. And then tip over to the other side. So if the feet are down on the mat, just roll onto the outside of the foot and then come back up. We're only doing this a couple more times to each side, just getting that lovely rotation through the back. Feeling the opposite chest, the opposite upper body, arm, shoulder, getting this lovely stretch. As you tip from right, coming up and to left. So you decide how slow, how low you go. Good, come back to center, come into a full body stretch. Reach from your fingers all the way down to your toes. Giving the wrists, giving the ankles a little rotate. Rolling over onto your front for the last little bit. We're going to be on our stomach, legs are nice and long, toes are untucked, and you're going to place your hands quite close by the side of your chest, rolling the shoulders back and down away from your ears. You're balancing your nose on the mat or just hovering it off. We're pulling the abdominals in, so we're not sinking into the back. And from here, draw a little imaginary line up the mat with your nose until now the chin points down to the floor. So you're not lifting up too much. Start to press through the hands and start to lift your chest slightly, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then come back down. If you feel any pinching or pressure in the lower back, don't come up as high this time. We lower back down, we take a deep breath in, we start to run the nose along the mat, we start to lift the upper body. Maybe we straighten the arms, we come up a little bit more, and then slowly start to lower down. This is lovely if you work at a desk, opening us out. Let's go a couple more times, run the nose along the mat. By the way, I'm wearing a cap, for those of you who don't know, because my eyes are very sensitive to light, and sometimes I need it to help. Let's come up one more time. Maybe hold it, and then slowly lower down. Take the hands underneath us a little more, pushing ourselves up. And let's tuck the toes under. Push our weight back into the toes, stretching the bottom of the feet. Head has dropped down in between the arms that are now long in front of you, palms on the mat. And then shift the weight forwards, give the wrists a little stretch. Sit back. Just do this a couple more times. Just coming up to the last little bit. Like I said, a nice quick one. Untuck your toes, bring your feet together, open your knees like a little frog. Bring the hands in, bring your right elbow to the right knee, left elbow to the left knee. Let your head melt into your hands. And maybe use the pad of one thumb to press into that point just between the eyes, just between the eyebrows, just above your nose. There's a nice pressure point there, especially if you suffer with sinus headaches or in this cold weather. And just take a moment to take a couple of deep breaths in and see if you can make your exhale a little bit longer, calming down the nervous system. Deep breath in and breathe out. Good. You can stay here for as long as you need. tuning into the sounds around you, the temperature of the room, just settle. I'm going to leave some breathing, some mindfulness, meditation, something mindful on screen that you can click onto or do if you want to stay here a little longer. But otherwise, sit tall. And you are done. I hope it feels like you've worked from top to toe in a really short amount of time. If you enjoyed it, please do give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry you didn't see Archie today, but anyway. And I'll see you next week for another one. Take care. Bye.